In this video, we will learn about the structure of an informal letter. This structure of an informal letter will cover 10 parts that a letter should have, and we will learn about all these 10 parts in the next slides to come. Now let's learn about the major parts of a letter writing. There are major three parts of a letter writing. Part 1 is called as the opening of a letter. Part 2 is called as the body of the letter, and part 3 is called as the closing. Now, opening of a letter has further three parts which we are going to learn, and similarly body of a letter has three parts, whereas finishing has four parts. So 3, 3 and 4, in total there are 10 parts of a letter writing, and we are going to learn about all these parts one by one in next slides to come. Now let's learn about some of the concepts of opening part of the letter writing. The opening of a letter often starts with the salutation. What is a salutation? Salutation is a greeting or a courteous way of addressing the recipient, the person who will receive the letter. It usually serves as an introduction and sets the tone of the rest of the message that is to be written in the letter. This is where we state the purpose of our letter writing. And in terms of where should we start writing, so all the 10 elements of letter writing will start at the extreme left side, and it will be aligned to the left margin. So there will be no indent in any part of letter writing. All the parts, 10 parts of a letter writing, will be aligned to the left margin of the letter, of the page. Now let's talk about the structure of the opening part of letter writing. The opening of a letter has small three parts. Part 1 is called as opening salutation. Part 2 is called as greeting statement, and part 3 is called as the purpose statement. So these are the three parts of our opening of a letter. We must write all these three parts. Now let's learn about part 1, which is opening salutation. The opening salutation of a letter is the greeting to address the recipient. Here are a few examples in an informal letter, how we open the letter by giving an opening salutation. If you are writing a letter to a friend, you will write on dear friend. If writing to a brother or a sister, dear brother, dear sister. And if you're writing to your friend, dear John, dear Ezra. Kindly note that after writing dear friend, dear John, dear Ezra, you must put a comma. So this is our opening salutation in an informal letter. Now let's learn about part 2, which is a greeting statement. Start your letter with an appropriate greeting statement. And in an informal letter, you can write down, hope you and your family are doing well. Or you can also write, hope this letter finds you and your family well. And if you want to personalize it to some extent, you can say, I still have fond memories of the time spent together last summer. So this will constitute your greeting statement. You cannot write all three. You will use one of them to write in the letter. Part 3 is purpose statement. A purpose statement is a declarative sentence that tells the specific purpose of writing your letter. So if you're writing a letter, what is the purpose of writing this letter? This comes at the third part of your letter writing, and which is the last part of your opening part of letter. So the purpose of the letter, let's see if you have to write a letter thanking a friend or a family member. So you will write your sentence as, I'm writing this letter to express my gratitude for. So whatever you are thanking the person with, you will complete that sentence. If you're writing a complaining letter, a complaint letter to someone, to your friend, to your neighbor, then you will say, I'm writing this letter to express my dissatisfaction on something that you're not happy with and you're complaining about. And if the letter is asking you to share a piece of new information with your friend, you will say, I'm writing this letter to share a good news about or informing you regarding whatever you want to inform that person. If the letter is about asking an advice or a favor or a help. So your purpose statement will be, I'm writing this letter to request you to seek help or to seek support regarding whatever that help would be. In case you get a letter where you are describing your holiday experience, your purpose statement will be, I am writing this letter to share an experience or my thoughts that I have on, depending on what the experience you are going to explain. If you're advising in your letter to your friend something advising, then you will write, I'm writing this letter to suggest you regarding whatever advice your friend is asking on. And if you're inviting your friend to a party or to an occasion, you'll say, I'm writing this letter to invite you for maybe a birthday party or a housewarming party. So this will come under your purpose statement. So purpose statement is designed depending on what the letter is demanding you to write. Now moving forward with the body of a letter. Let's understand few concepts while writing a body of a letter. A body of letter is a main body and it contains the main content, the main message, or the information you want to convey to the person you are writing this letter to. The content in this part should include relevant and specific details. They must be specific, not generic, and must be specific facts if those are asked, or supporting evidence to strengthen your message. If you will write generic ideas, generic details, generic information, then your body of your letter will not be strong. It will be considered a weak, and your task achievement will be considered a weak. Now, the body part of a letter is to be written in a very clear and organized manners, which we will learn step by step. And where is the placement? Do we start like a paragraph old method of putting an indent of giving a space of two fingers and then start writing your paragraph? No, we will align it to the extreme left margin of the margin line on the paper. So there is no indent, there is no paragraphing. It has to be aligned with the left of the margin. Now let's learn about a body of a letter. The body of the letter is the main part of the letter writing where you will be answering the three questions that are being asked. So these three questions come in the form of three bullets that you see in your letter writing. Each bullet has one question. So what is the structure of the body of a letter? It will have three separate, different, distinct paragraphs, and each paragraph will be an answer to one bullet that is being asked. So answering first bullet will be one paragraph, answering bullet 2 will be the second paragraph, answering bullet 3 will be the third part of the body paragraph. And all of these three paragraphs need to be written not in the traditional form of a letter writing paragraph where you are putting an indent of two fingers. Now their placement will be extreme left on the margins. It will align from the left margin. For each bullet question, write relevant and specific details, facts, or supporting evidence to answer the bullet. Some bullet questions may require an answer only in 2 sentences, and others may require 3 to 4 sentences. When you are giving your answers, be specific in your response and do not go off the question. You will be seeing a sample in the next letter where you will see how these three bullets are being answered in three different paragraphs. Something very important to understand when you are writing and understanding the structure of a letter is the use of transition words. These transition words contribute in a very effective manner to the structure of your letter writing. Transition words and phrases in a letter serve as a linguistic tool to connect ideas, sentences, and paragraphs. They play a vital role in creating a strong and a coherent structure by improving the flow and readability of the letter. Now, there are so many transition words found in English language, but let's see which one are we going to use. If you are writing to add a point, the transition words that can be used are furthermore, moreover, in addition or besides. In the case you are putting a contrast in two ideas, you will use however, on the other hand, on the contrary. If you are asked to compare few things, then you would say similarly, likewise, in the same way. If you have to write in the paragraph any reason or a cause of something and what is the effect of that. For cause, you will use because, since, as, and for effect, you will use therefore, as a result, or consequently. In case you're writing a time sequence, that something you're describing, some activity or some event happened, you would use the transition words like first, next, meanwhile, finally. In case you are writing any example, you will use for instance, for example, or in particular. So these are the transition words which add to the structure, and the readability of the letter gets enhanced and improved with the use of these transition words. Now we are reaching in understanding the structure of the last part of letter writing, which is closing, the major last part. So what are the concepts of the closing? The closing is a polite way to conclude your letter, and it has four components. You will see that it will be one by one written in the letter. And it is also placed below the body of the letter, and it is aligned on the left margin. So remember that all parts of letter writing are aligned on the left margin, not like a traditional way of leaving two fingers indent and then starting your paragraph. Understanding the structure of the closing is very important for us. It is simple and it is clear. The closing is a polite way to conclude your letter. So there are four parts in the closing of a letter. So one is called as finishing statement. The second is thank you statement. Third is closing salutation. And the last one is close signing off. So part 7, 8, 9, and 10, they form the closing of a letter. Now let's learn about the finishing statement, which is part 7 of letter writing. The finishing statement of an informal letter should typically convey warmth, affection, or a sense of closing. So this is called as a closing statement or finishing statement. And I have here 8 examples for you to pick up. You can choose any one of these statements, finishing statements, that will match your exam question. So the first one is, I can't wait to catch up with you soon. I am eagerly waiting for your reply. Or you can write down, sending lots of love your way until next time. Wishing you all the best until we meet again. Take it easy. Stay in touch, my friend. I'll be thinking of you. Enjoy your adventure and don't forget to write back. Hugs. I'll miss our chats until we can meet again. See you on the flip side. Remember, you're always welcome here. Write soon. So these are some of the fantastic finishing statements that you can use. Remember, you cannot use all of them. You will take only one. And also remember that this is a finishing statement of an informal letter that you are writing to your friend, to your family member, or somebody you know very well. These statements will not be used in a formal letter writing. We will have separate set of statements, finishing statements for a formal letter writing. Part 8 of the letter writing is thank you statement. In a thank you statement, we express gratitude in a thoughtful way to show the appreciation. You can tailor your statement to the specific situation and your relationship with the recipient to make it more personal and meaningful. But here are 8 examples of a thank you statement, and you can use any one of them that matches the question that is being asked in letter writing. So the first example is, I can't thank you enough for helping me out with the project. Your assistance made a huge difference. So this can be written if your friend or somebody you know who you are writing this letter to has helped you in something. Another option can be, thank you for your kind words and support during the challenging time. You are a true blessing. Or, thank you for the wonderful birthday gift. It meant so much to me. if you are writing a letter of thank you because you received a birthday gift. Another option can be, I'm so grateful for your advice and guidance. You always know how to point me in the right direction. This will be written in case you are thanking to the person who gave you some advices, some pieces of advice, and some guidance. Thank you for being such an amazing friend. I cherish our moments together. I want to express my heartfelt thanks for your constant support and encouragement. You are great. Thank you for the laughs and great company on our recent trip. It wouldn't have been possible without you. You can also write, I appreciate your help with the kids while I was sick. You are a lifesaver. So these are the different types of thank you statements that are written here. You can choose any one of them that matches the question that is being asked, or you can tailor thank you statement in a specific situation and understanding the relationship you are writing this letter to make it more meaningful, personal, and effective. Here we are at part 9, which is closing salutation. So before you write your sign at the end of the letter writing, there is something which is called as closing salutation. A closing salutation in a letter is a polite way to end your correspondence. It is the part of the letter that directly precedes your signatures. So before signature, closing salutation comes. There are 8 examples of closing salutation that are mentioned on this slide, and you can use any one of them depending on what you feel is right for the question that is being asked. You can write down stay awesome, love, cheers, stay blessed, take care, with love, best wishes, hugs. So these are wonderful way to close your letter when you're writing it to your family member or to your relative or someone you know very well. Here we are on part 10, which is signing off. At the end of the letter, all you have to do is write your first name, and that's how we end our letter. Now let's have a recap of what we have learned in this video. So there are 3 questions here. The first question is, what are 3 major parts of a letter? Obviously, the opening, the body, and the closing. Next question is, where do you place all 3 parts of a letter? We align all these 3 parts of letter to the left margin. Which part of letter is more important than the other part? All the parts of letter writing are equally important and they are equally to be addressed. Now let's proceed to the next lesson. Our next lesson is on how to write a full letter. You will have an opportunity to build upon a letter step by step, and you will get one full sample in the next slide. And that's what we are going to learn now. Get set ready for writing a full letter. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for getting ready for Band 7 Plus letter writing.